What if people could be cloned on a massive scale? What if, tomorrow morning, humanity woke up to a world where no one was truly unique anymore, where every face could be copied, every mind duplicated, every life repeated? Today, we're diving into one of the most unsettling possibilities of the future. What if human cloning became widespread? It begins quietly, not with explosions, not with panic, but with a press conference. A group of scientists steps onto a stage. They announced impossible, safe, fast, affordable human cloning. At first, it's presented as a medical miracle, a second chance. Parents who lost a child too soon are given a new hope. Patients in desperate need of a transplant can now clone healthy organs instead of waiting for donors. Aging billionaires, chasing immortality, clone younger versions of themselves to transfer their consciousness into. The world applauds. For the first time in history, death feels negotiable. But then the question changes. It's no longer about if we can clone humans, but how many ? The miracle of medicine quickly becomes the engine of industry. Factories are built not for cars or computers, but for people. Imagine vast, sterile halls with rows upon rows of incubation pods. Inside, identical faces, identical bodies, identical DNA, an endless supply of human life. Starting at zero, governments inevitably get involved. They see the potential. Clones are created for labor, filling the jobs no one wants to do. They're sent into hazardous environments. From deep-sea mining to radioactive cleanup sites, they become the perfect soldiers for endless wars. After all, if a person can be replaced with an exact copy, how valuable is their individual life? The concept of sacrifice loses its meaning when the supply is infinite. Society begins to stratify in a way it never has before. There are the originals, and then there are the copies. And then comes the moment that humanity, in its arrogance, didn't plan for. The clones grow up. They aren't just biological machines. They learn. They feel. They form memories. They experience joy, sadness, love, and pain. And one day, a clone looks into a mirror, at a face shared by millions, and asks the one question the entire system was designed to ignore: am I real? That single question shatters the world. Society fractures along this new, terrifying fault line. Originals, fearing the loss of their uniqueness and status, demand rights and protections. Clones, now self-aware and numerous, demand equality and recognition. The legal system collapses under the strain. Courts struggle to define the very concept of personhood. Is identity contained within our DNA, or is it forged through the sum of our experiences? Picture a courtroom. Two people with the exact same face stand before a judge. One, the original, claims ownership of a life, a history, a family. The other, the clone, claims ownership of a soul, a consciousness that is entirely their own. Who is the real person? Who has the right to exist? The cloning scales exponentially. First millions, then billions. Cities begin to fill with repetitions. Familiar faces seen over and over on the street. It creates a strange, uncanny valley effect on a global scale. An artist finds themselves competing for commissions against their own copies, each with the same innate talent. Political leaders are cloned to preserve a nation's stability, creating dynasties of identical rulers. The darker applications emerge too. Criminals are cloned for horrifying psychological experiments. Their duplicates subjected to trials no one would dare inflict on an original. Humanity becomes a reproducible, editable resource. But in the midst of this manufactured uniformity, something unexpected happens. True originality explodes. Because when everyone can copy your body, the only thing that truly matters is who you become. Your mind, your choices, your character. These become the last frontiers of individuality. We see clones raised in different environments evolve into radically different people. They share the same genetic blueprint, but their lives chart completely different courses. One becomes a celebrated hero, saving lives and inspiring millions. Their identical twin, raised in poverty and neglect, becomes a ruthless tyrant. Another simply disappears, choosing a life of quiet anonymity. free from the shadow of their origin. Science is forced to confront a truth we always suspected. DNA is just the blueprint. Life is the construction. Our choices are the architect. Then, the darkest question of all emerges from the shadows. If we can create people, can we also delete them? The corporations and governments that created the clones begin to implement control measures. Shutdown protocols are embedded in their genetics. Expiration dates are assigned at birth. Ownership tags are implanted beneath their skin. The word human starts to blur, its definition becoming dangerously flexible. Are they property or people? The answer depends entirely on who you ask. And then, one day, in a city on the brink of collapse, a clone does something unimaginable. A disaster strikes, a fire, an explosion, a cataclysm. While the originals run for safety, a clone runs toward the danger. They sacrifice themselves to save the city, dying to protect the very people who never saw them as equal. In that single, selfless act, the world changes again. Because no machine, no algorithm, no simple copy would choose to die for strangers. It's a profoundly, beautifully human act. Humanity realizes, far too late, that it was never cloning that threatened its existence. It was the slow, creeping erosion of empathy. It was forgetting what gives a life meaning: love, sacrifice, purpose. And as the world stands surrounded by mirrors of itself, populated by billions of identical faces, one final, personal question remains, echoing in the silence. If someone exactly like you exists, what makes you, you? If someone exactly like you could exist, your face, your voice, your DNA, what would make your life matter? And would you still live it the same way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching.